Belgian Waffle Ride is by far the most pain you're going to experience on a bike.
It's completely unique, you know, it's the most unique cycling event in the country. The pageantry and the flair and all the fun stuff that we interject along the way.
In a sport where everybody loves to suffer, a lot of times it's just who can suffer the most.
It really brings together parts of like a cyclocross race, parts of a road race, parts of a mountain bike race, and it merges it all into one.
134 miles and 11,000 feet of climbing. The first thing that pops into my brain is that it's going to be a long day.
It's not easy. To finish it is actually a serious accomplishment.
And there's more bragging rights for the Belgian Waffle Ride than there is for any other race throughout the year.
The Belgian Waffle Ride all started with a friend of mine, Dave Yeager. Dave had begun what is known as the French Toast Ride decades ago. Basically, it's a bunch of guys that get together, eat a bunch of French toast, and then go out and ride 118 miles. So I asked David if he wouldn't mind me taking his idea and putting my own little spin on it, and thus the Belgian Waffle Ride was born. This is a lot like the Spring Classics in Europe, at least the California version of it. The Spring Classic races are typically held in and around Belgium. They're the most painful one-day races on the planet. So what I set out to do was produce something totally unique to the US, using our particular topography here in San Diego to create a brutally challenging event. For the past 3 years, I've laid out the most diabolical course I can possibly come up with, complete with 11,000 feet of climbing and terrain that was never intended for a road bike. And yet for some reason, more and more people show up every year, including some of the world's best riders from road biking, mountain biking, and cyclocross. And so every year I figure out new ways to make them hate me more.
Michael did a good job of picking the course, but damn, why do you gotta make it so tough?
He's done a good job making it, bigger, better, harder. So I have no doubt that this year is going to be the most challenging of all three.
So this is a road bike, and Michael wants us going 130 miles in the most god-awful conditions, and we're doing it.
Am I going to puncture 5 times? Am I going to, crash on every dirt section? Am I going to get taken out by someone else? Am I going to take myself out? I mean, all of that sort of stuff, you just have to roll with it.
It definitely takes a special breed of person to want to go out and train for something like this and then ultimately complete it.
My training coming into this was really upping my volume to prepare for the duration. 6 or 7 hours in the saddle, that's a pretty long duration. In addition to that, lots and lots of climbing.
It's a lot of thought that goes into your equipment setup so that you're efficient on the road, but yet you can survive the dirt sections, and that really makes it a completely unique event.
There's so many little things, including the bike technical handling skills, knowing how to hydrate, how much food to take in, because a lot of it ends up becoming an eating contest.
Go out harder than I can handle and keep feeding the motor and just hope it comes through at the end. We'll see.
The BWR's beneficiary is the Challenged Athletes Foundation. They've been our partner now the last couple years.
The Challenged Athletes Foundation does a fantastic job of getting people off their butts and competing again. And whether that's a sense of just accomplishment or they want to go to the elite level, they're there to back them up.
I was a state champion wrestler, and I was working a summertime job before going to university after that summer. The rope got wrapped around this part of my arm and pulled me through an industrial cooling tower. And here we are now 30 years later. And it was only 20 years later it took me to get one of these with CAF. How about that? Thousands and thousands of kids and adults have limbs now and can participate back in sport. Born again with a new limb. When I crash, I just hang on tight, say goodnight.
I think my background in mountain biking and also cyclocross is going to give me an advantage.
I won the event last year, and I hope to repeat again this year.
I I'm just racing today so I could try the spy beer at the end. Like, let's be real.
We're gonna roll out in a couple minutes. I'm very excited for this. Hopefully you guys are too. It's gonna be a great day. We've been blessed with great weather. Today is all about having fun, meeting new people, challenging ourselves. After all the preparation, dialing in the course, getting all the sponsors lined up, to actually hear that starting gun and to roll out with all that excitement and to do this thing for real, it's an incredible feeling. So the first year we had 180 riders. The second year we had 365 people broken into 2 waves, and this year we had to cap it at 500, so we did 3 waves. So the race starts out with 22 miles on the road, and that's all neutral, so everyone kind of rolls out together.
We came off of the neutral section and then a total fight into the first dirt single track. It's actually a mountain bike single track, and we're out there on our road bikes.
People actually crashed, and I hate that sound of metal and carbon and things breaking. The first dirt section separated everybody, and everything became this long line of people in misery, which was really the idea.
After that first dirt section, people get back on the road, but just for a little while. Then we drop down into Lake Hodges, where there's a long, bumpy, treacherous dirt section. A lot of people flat there or have mechanicals. That trail ends at the first major climb, which is Highland Valley. That's about a 5-mile climb that just tears your soul apart.
You go through periods of times where you feel awesome, and then you go through an hour where you feel like complete shit, and then you feel good again, and it's just like this ebb and flow during the day.
I do have a little bit of experience on the mountain bike, but when you get onto the road bike and you're doing something like Black Canyon, you really got to pay attention. It's fast, it's sandy, you can get out of control pretty quick.
The course climbs up beyond Sutherland Dam to the highest point in the race, and then it drops down through Ramona and the San Pasqual Valley into sandy Bandy. There's a trail that runs along the canyon, and it's really tricky. It's got a lot of sand and twists and turns. BWR is meant to be long, arduous enough, hilly enough, and dirty enough to get rid of packs. It just becomes a race within yourself. We want it to be a race where people have to rely on their own strength, their own willpower, and their own might to get through it.
Your competitors, they can make you hurt. You just have to be comfortable that at mile 105, when someone's laying the smack down, that if it hurts you, it hurts them too.
There are multiple times I was out there just thinking, man, we still have 100 miles to go, or we have 80 miles to go, and we're riding so hard and there are so few of us.
Once the race goes through Rancho Santa Fe up to the next grueling climb, it runs into something we call the oasis. It's something that you don't believe it when you see it, but you're so glad it's there.
I'm in the box, barely making it. Look up, I'm not quite sure if I should stop or keep going. It was definitely a happy surprise.
By then your legs are just burning, your lungs are hurting, but you think, okay, well, I'm getting close, I'm almost there, and then at the end we go up to double peak, which if you have anything left in your legs at all, that completely breaks you.
I've known Neil for a while, and I know how he rides. I knew he had plenty left in the tank. He attacked, and I just had nothing to answer for it.
You know, I do double peak on a regular basis, and it's usually about mile 12 into my ride, not mile 112.
Double peak is hands down the hardest part of the race. So once you make it to the top of that and begin to descend, the feeling is indescribable.
This year, Michael Marks promised it was going to be harder, and he delivered.
You've been out there for 7 hours, you're filthy, you crashed 3 times, you punctured twice, and you're happy. You've got a massive smile on your face, and you instantly say, there's no way I'm doing this again. Monday morning, you put your entry in to do it again.
Ultimately, we want to keep growing this event and providing the cycling community and cyclists all over the world with something completely unique to do with just a bit more pain each year.
In third place, Spy's very own Ryan Trebone. In second place, Phil Tinsman. And your 2014 Spy Belgian Waffle Ride champion, second year in a row, Neil Shirley.
It was an amazing event, an epic adventure, and for some reason, I just can't wait for next year.